Christmas single that
Christmas single as well.
we've got a Christmas single.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's it called?
Last Christmas, and it's a ballad, but it's you know, like Cool and the Gang. It's a groove. It's not a fast dance track. It's a fairly mid-tempo groove, and in my opinion, it's slightly Hall and Oates in the vocal arrangement, and it's a really sad record. It's far sadder than Careless Whisper, and I think that that's what's going to appeal to people. It's about a love affair. You know, last Christmas, the love affair the guy had last Christmas, and it really is special.
The duo have 3 sellout concerts in Melbourne, but if today was any indication, you'll be lucky to hear anything but screams. It was a long wait for Wham fans today. A number of jumbos had landed at the same time and there was no rushing customs. But for those not so dedicated, it was a tedious 2-hour wait. Wham travelled with their parents, who emerged first. Then the crowd went crazy as the first member, 21-year-old George Michael, appeared in his dark sunglasses and coiffed hair. A quick wave and out of sight. The same for the second member, 21-year-old Andrew Ridgeley. That was it. The fans will have to wait for the concerts at the entertainment centre this week before their heroes will be seen again. Wham have had amazing chart success with their songs, including Freedom and Wake Me Up Before You Go and Last Christmas.
Wham has received an hysterical welcome from Australian fans. But today they cancelled a press conference in Melbourne and no one is too sure why. Brian Schrouder reports.
Wham mania, that's the only word to describe the scenes outside Melbourne's Hilton Hotel today. While the group's superstars George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley were safely hidden on an undisclosed floor, about 300 fans screamed and chanted their lungs out, desperate for a glimpse of their idols. But Wham was nowhere to be seen. And there was no sign of them inside either. A press conference scheduled for this afternoon was cancelled at the last minute. The reason? George Michael had a sore throat.
George has just seen a doctor today and his voice is really dodgy. He had to do 2 gigs in the last 2 nights with amazingly wonderful Australian fans screaming their heads off, and he couldn't hear them the first night at all. They were so loud that his voice was really strained.
George's reason sounds legitimate, but if he really does have a cold, why was he seen swimming in the hotel pool? We've also heard from people inside the Hilton that his real reason for not talking to the press was that he didn't want to put on his makeup. Another press conference is scheduled for tomorrow, but rock industry sources suggest the group that sold out 3 concerts in Melbourne isn't too keen to talk to the media. As one story goes, there was no press conference on their arrival because George's hair wasn't properly styled.
Wake me up before you go.
Today, the tables were turned. It was the public that was left hanging on like a yo-yo. Brian Schrouder, Eyewitness News.
Wham, and today the one and only press conference of their Australian tour was scheduled. We were going behind the scenes there. Then wham bam, sorry folks, their Meet the Press appointment was cancelled. Why? Andrea Keir reports.
As the lyrics suggest, these boys are inseparable. You can't have one without the other. That's the story we got today. Well, the fans certainly wanted Wham today, and so did the media, but we didn't find any joy here at the Hilton. What was billed to be the only press conference going to be held in Australia has just been cancelled because one of the singers in Wham has just developed a case of laryngitis. Singer George Michael must have overdone it at the entertainment centre last night during their second Melbourne concert. Under doctor's orders, he certainly wasn't allowed to indulge in even careless whispers with the media. If there was to be no George, the managers were definitely not prepared to put Andrew Ridgeley, the other singer of the duo, in the hot seat. What about Andrew talking to us on his own?
I think Wham are a duo and I think you should talk to them both together.
They haven't said anything themselves?
No, George can't talk.
What about Andrew? Here's a voice.
Yes, as I said, Wham are a duo and I think you ought to talk to them together. And that's what I'm going to say at the moment.
There's no doubt most of the media present today were annoyed at the late change. So now, if you want to rap with Wham, you'll have to fly to Sydney tomorrow to attend the rescheduled first and only press conference. The fans outside the Hilton had their own thoughts on why George Michael didn't show today.
He's always got something wrong with him. It's all right.
Yeah, well, on Countdown, they just interviewed Andrew and they just left George out because he had a cold sore.
Yeah, people have been saying a pimple has popped up and he's lost his hairspray and everything. But, I mean, we just like them for what they are, not what they look like.
Well, there you have it. I must confess that I'm not too hot on this bubblegum music. As the Sun's reviewer said about the concert, wake me up before you go.
The British pop stars flew to the harbour city today to prepare for a series of weekend concerts, and the fans were out in scores to welcome them.
These are Sydney Wham fans. And this is what they're waiting for. Andrew Ridgeley and George Michaels are the latest teen sensations to hit Sydney. In their early 20s, they admit to being vain, but sudden success, they say, hasn't fazed them.
They've been like real meteoric rises. That been like 3 or 4 weeks and they suddenly have a #1 single, whereas this is built up gradually over 2 or 3 years. And I think just because we've worked solidly through that time, we understand why it's happened and how it's happened, so I don't think it's gone to our heads too quickly.
They're impressed by Australia.
Well, I can't believe the size of the place.
And there's no truth to the rumour they take their mothers with them wherever they tour.
We don't take our mothers with us. I brought my family with me. I just thought it'd be nice for my mum and dad to see the world, and Andy's mum's come as well. They stay away from us, so they're very good.
For fans concerned about George's cold, a reassuring word.
Well, the sore throat's okay. The nose is a little bit bunged up. You might be able to hear. I just seem to have a terrible habit of catching colds lately.
Their first show is on at the Entertainment Centre this Saturday night. It also happens to be Andrew Ridgeley's 22nd birthday, so the fans are already getting in some practice.
Happy birthday, dear Andrew!
These are the pictures that inspired a hit record. When they were shown last October, they horrified the nation. Hundreds of fundraising campaigns were launched spontaneously across Britain, and one of the most successful began 2 weeks ago, when dozens of the biggest names in British pop music gathered in a backstreet studio in West London. Their purpose? To make a record which would go straight to the top of the charts. They called themselves Band Aid, they called their record Do They Know It's Christmas, and this morning they reached #1, the fastest-selling record of all time. It was Bob Geldof of Boomtown Rats who brought them all together.
It could look like we will actually, with this one song, exceed the total UNICEF budget for 1985 for that part of Africa, which would be a phenomenal achievement on the part of the people buying the record.
Traditionally, Christmas #1s are a mixed bag. Few of them could be described as classics. But there's no question that Band Aid have caught the mood of the moment, not only with the song itself, but also with the motives that inspired it.